Well, this is interesting. So, this is an alleged Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny plot leak. It actually claims that Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character becomes the hero of the movie, essentially. She makes the heroic choice to knock out Indiana Jones. Yeah. To protect history. Bizarre, considering that's really out of place for Indiana Jones as a character. Now, a lot of this stuff, look, I'm just going to go on record and say I was probably lied to by one of my sources. So, this was a reliable source, unfortunately. No longer reliable, and will probably knock them off my source list, because some of this flies in the face of that. Which is a shame, because they were really reliable, but I don't know why they chose to potentially lie. This is not unconfirmed at this point in time, but still, I've got to address it head on because people will say it. And this is just the nature with sources. Proved reliable for a long time, and that Disney money got them, I guess. Who knows? But anyway, full spoilers ahead. It sounds really bad. This sounds utterly atrocious. Probably worse than we thought, actually. So, there's an alleged plot leak for Lucasfilm's upcoming Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny film, and it claims that Phoebe Waller-Bridge's Helena character, the one that's like, oh, I'm so super smart and super sexy and blah blah blah. It's like, no, you're not. But good on you for trying to write that in dialogue. But it essentially claims that Helena is the character who makes the critical heroic decision because Indiana Jones refuses to do so. Not only does she make the heroic decision, but the decision is also hinged on knocking out the traditional hero. Our traditional hero, Indiana Jones. It's bizarre. It's a really, really bizarre way to go. Because you got to remember, people are paying to watch Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones. They're not paying to watch Phoebe Waller-Bridge. They don't give a shit about Helena and Phoebe Waller-Bridge. They don't care. So they either they have to make her incredibly likable through this film to make that punch seem worthwhile, I guess. Make it seem not so out of place. Or it's going to seem massively out of place. It's just a really, really strange decision. So anyway, according to a Reddit user, Lunek Jones, who shared what he claims is a full plot synopsis for the film. At the end of the film, Mads Mikkelsen's Dr. Jürgen Voller, great name, is able to complete the Dial of Destiny and attempts to use it to travel back in time in order to kill Hitler to prevent Germany from invading Poland and committing this big mistake. However, the Dial of Destiny does not take Voller to Sicily in 1939, but rather transports him, Indiana Jones and Helena, who are aboard airplanes, to the Roman siege of Syracuse. How would you get that? What the hell? It doesn't make sense. How does that make any sense? Oh, just randomly did it? Okay, cool. I guess. Very odd. So anyway, Voller and the rest of the Germans end up dying in a plane crash. Great way to kill your great big bad. Who they really say that Mads Mikkelsen's a really good villain in this as well. So if that's the way they kill him, that's even more ridiculous than I thought. Because, well, a villain's got to go out in a good way. And Indiana Jones villains generally always go out in really good ways. Like, the Ark of the Covenant, they're all melty face men. It was amazing to see that. Like, amazing to watch them die in that way. You got the... I can't even remember what it was called. The cup. I literally can't even remember the name of the movie now. But the cup, and then the guy ages to oblivion and disintegrates. Again, really good ways to kill your villains. Bizarre. That he just dies in a plane crash. That's out of place already. But anyway, Indy and Helena are able to escape the plane using a parachute, which we see in the trailer. Allegedly. This is all alleged, guys. So upon landing on the ground, Indiana Jones encounters Archimedes, who also retrieves the completed Dial of Destiny from the corpse of Vola. Archimedes proceeds to ensure the Dial of Destiny can only transport users to him in Syracuse during the siege, while also obtaining one of Vola's watches, giving him knowledge on the device. How? If this is true, this is the biggest pile of crap I've seen in a long time. Or will be. So the plot synopsis explains, as Helena tells him that Archimedes has rigged the dial, in making sure it only sends back to Syracuse on the day of the siege so that they could save him, we understand it's thanks to this jump in time that he found his knowledge about watches on how to complete the dial. So is this like some self-replicating loop? So from there, Luke and Jones details that Indiana Jones does not want to return to his present, but would rather stay in Syracuse. What the fuck? Because he believes there is nothing for him in 1969. God. So he's a coward now. In contrast, Helena attempts to convince Indy to return to the present, believing if he stays in the past, he would change the course of history. Indy apparently is unconvinced by Helena's argument, so she resorts to punching him and knocking him out. When Indy awakes, he's back in 1969 in New York City in his bed, and he then reproaches Helena for having brought him back to the present, although there's nothing for him there. However, Helena counters that there is something for him to continue living for, and Marion shows up in his apartment with a number of groceries. The film earlier made it clear, check this out, that Marion and he were either divorced or on the brink of divorce, as divorce papers were pinned to Indy's fridge, held up by a picture of Marion. The two eventually appear to reconcile whatever contrived issues the film gives them, to have them embrace in a kiss. So they were fine. This is the ultimate dumb film writing 101, right? We're going to end on a good note, because the last film that ended on a good note, we're going to undo that at the start of this film to only end in the same place as the last film. That is shit writing. No wonder these people are on strike. Fire them all. They're terrible writers. So apparently him and Marion embrace with a kiss, with the plot synopsis explaining they reenact the boat scene from Raiders in reverse before Indy kisses her. Finally, the film reportedly ends with a shot of Indiana Jones's hat on a drying line outside the apartment, with what appears to be Jones's hand eventually grabbing it off the line as the camera zooms onto the hat in a small circle similar to the old Warner Brothers cartoons. This sounds utterly shite. The screen reduced into a small circle like in the Tom and Jerry cartoons, circling the hat and appearing to end there just before we see Indy's hand. Can't be sure 100%. It was his now that I think back about it, but it makes sense that it was getting the hat back inside the end. This sounds real. If this is true, this is real bad. Like, worse than we thought. Super bad. It's super dumb to undo what the previous film did. You know, our hero ends on a positive. So you're going to undo that at the start of this film to only end up where we were before. That's really bad writing. There's no progression. It's regression and then just ending on the same thing. It's just stagnation. It's ridiculous. God, fucking Kathleen Kennedy. You don't know how to write films. You don't know how to hire people. Just get fired. Absolutely ridiculous. So let me know what you think of this. Again, this is unconfirmed, but if this is true, fucking this is terrible. She's the saviour. Anyway, hit subscribe, give the video a like and a share. Take care.